Hi, my name is Connie Jean Conklin, and I'm making this video to explain why I think I am worth hiring. I have a big gap in my employment, and you may have noticed that. No current work references. So I need to explain that. I worked in the mental health field, and I taught special education. You have my resume, so you probably see my degrees. They were quite a while ago. I was once certified to teach learning disabled and emotionally disturbed. And then I went to work in the mental health field after I got my master's, which is in guidance and counseling. And I did quite well working in the mental health field. In the late 80s, I was sort of the go-to person for borderline personality disorders. I stopped the revolving door into inpatient by working with our housing program and getting my clients into the top level of our housing program, where they had time, they had their own place, and they weren't having to work to pay the bills, so they could come see me for therapy and just stop the revolving door back and forth to inpatient. They got some of the help they needed. They were able to progress on, and it was awesome. I loved it. Unfortunately, the state didn't accept my supervision. Is the only reason I wasn't certified in way back then. And when I started over, I moved to New Mexico. My last full-time professional job was a Site Counselor 3 for the state of New Mexico. But somehow in the moving and other things that happened in my life, when I worked emotionally numb, and I had memories that were blocked. I didn't know why I felt numb, why I had racing thoughts of suicide for a lot of years. I didn't act on it. I functioned. I did well. But when the memory surfaced, I ended up having to get Social Security disability and work on my recovery, which is what I did for 20 years. I worked really hard on my recovery. And I feel like, and I have felt like, I'm ready to go back to work. And I feel like I know so much more than I used to. Now the diagnosis of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, while still not in the DSM, is used. And as soon as I read it, it was like finally a diagnosis that makes sense. This describes me. This is my life, what's happened to me. And I have worked through all my issues. I still do have some triggering. If I'm not feeling safe and things aren't going well, then somebody beeps a loud car horn, I'll dive for the ditch. And the ACE, if you understand the ACE scores, which hopefully enough people do these days now, it's part of the, it's an automatic response, similar to, we have that part of the brain is similar to the lower animals. It's a reaction. It is not using cortical thinking. My cortical thinking, when I have time to process something, I'm fine. I'm probably the sanest person you know, because I've worked so hard at, understanding myself and working on my recovery. And basically, that's it. 15 years ago, I started being ready to go back to work. I was looking for work. And vocational rehabilitation told me I was too old and overeducated, so they could not and would not help me. And at that time, I could live on my Social Security disability, so I really didn't try very hard. I got my meaning in my life from my community activities, and I founded an organization called CSCAT. It stands for Supportive Environment for Adult Survivors of Child Abuse and Trauma. And we have an educational program, and I have a couple of board members. One of them is as passionate about CSCAT as I am, and the other one is close. She's a retired minister whose mother had been a survivor, and she learned from her mother's struggles. She gained that empathy needed to help people. And Right now, I am struggling financially because I no longer can live on Social Security disability. And in a couple of months, it's going to change to early retirement, averaged over a lifetime of my work. For all the years I worked my way through school with minimum wage jobs. So my income is going to go down, and I need to find earned income to supplement my Social Security. I am homeless at the moment. I am at a lady's house where I've been sleeping in her attic in order to help her stay out of a nursing home. She's in the ER right now, and I really would be surprised if she comes back here, in which case I will be having to leave in a few days. And I need to find employment. I really need to find employment. I've got my board members are saying, don't worry about CSCAT. That's what we're here for. And as soon as I get back on my feet, I'm going to update my pollinator grant, and my board member, Mark, is going to file for our 501c3, so it's not going to end. But it doesn't earn me any money. It doesn't allow me to have housing. And I've got to have housing in order to survive. And that's the economy these days. I apologize to all the young people who have all the college debt. I managed to take classes as I came up with the money for them. They can't do that these days. Anyways, I feel I'm worth hiring. I feel I can work. I don't need sign-on bonuses or moving expenses, because I know those are meant for the kids coming right out of college who are going to be with you for 20, 30 years. And I understand that's where it should go. But if I can find work, I'm in Swain County, North Carolina right now. I have friends and contacts in Jackson County and Haywood County. I would love to be in one of those three counties. I wouldn't mind being in Macon County. There's a lot going on there. I wouldn't mind being in Buncombe if I can find housing without having to be right in the city. I don't do well with crowds. But I have all the skills I ever had, plus more, plus lots more. And my phone number is 828-506-6141. And my email is CSCAT, that's SEASCAT @gmail.com. And again, I am Connie Jean Conklin. Thank you.